Just like we see with every single Marvel movie released, the big lead up, the excitement, the hype that the mainstream media desperately tries to generate. Then the early access screenings come out and they tell you it's the best thing ever. Then the reviews come out. Then the opening weekend happens. And even when the opening weekend is weak, like it was with Fantastic Four First Steps, they tell you, oh my gosh, everybody, Marvel's back, watch out. And it always ends up happening this way, where the second weekend falls off a cliff, and that is what we saw for Fantastic Four. But would it rebound in its third weekend? Well, of course it didn't.
And now it's looking like Fantastic Four is gonna bomb. I think Pedro Pascal fatigue is real. I think people are tired of this guy. He's in everything. He's constantly in all these magazines and websites are trying to say this is the sexiest man alive. There was that weird photo shoot where everyone's rubbing his face. All of the creepy anxiety things of him grabbing Vanessa Kirby's ass and face all the time is really weird.
And the numbers are bleak for Disney Marvel's Fantastic Four. In fact, now that we have 3 weekends worth of data, this is a movie that is going to struggle to hit $500 million. I think it'll do it. I think it'll get there, probably just a little bit above. But it is not guaranteed. It is now going to be a struggle for this movie to get to $500 million. This is one of the most legendary superhero teams that...
Marvel fans, brace yourselves, because what I'm about to tell you will shatter everything you thought you knew about the MCU. Disney's latest $200 million superhero gamble, Fantastic Four, First Steps, didn't just stumble, it face-planted in front of the entire world. And right now, Disney's top brass, including Bob Iger himself, are scrambling behind closed doors, hunting for someone to blame. Is Pedro Pascal the scapegoat? Was this movie cursed from the start? And is the end of the MCU's golden age happening right before our eyes? Stick around, because by the end of this video, you'll see receipts that even Marvel would never want you to find. For months, Marvel promised us the rebirth of their most powerful cinematic family. They called it the first family of Marvel. Trailers dropping every few weeks, each one packed with perfectly placed fan service cameos and mysterious shadowy villains. Marvel's marketing machine hit full throttle, billboards in every major city, cast interviews flooding late-night TV, hashtags trending every single day. Critics were calling it Marvel's return to form. Influencers were already speculating about crossovers with X-Men and Spider-Man, and fan forums were ablaze with theories. Every leak felt designed to fuel hype. Disney positioned Fantastic Four, First Steps, as the movie that would reset the MCU's shaky Phase 5. It was scripted in the press as the opening act to Avengers, Doomsday, the next ultimate crossover event. The stage was set. Audience anticipation? Through the roof. Disney looked at the billion-dollar box office goal and said, "Oh, we've got this."
Fantastic Four First Steps crashes again at the box office in its third weekend. And keep in mind, this is after Bob Iger, just like he did for Thunderbolts when he talked about, oh my gosh, we're so happy with the success of Thunderbolts, blah, blah, blah. This is after Bob Iger does Damage Control, basically lies to everybody and talks about what a successful start to a franchise, a new franchise in the MCU that this is. Disney boss Bob Iger says Marvel's Fantastic Four reboot has successfully launched this important franchise into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. The reality is this is another box office loser for Disney.
The brand Marvel used to sell tickets in and of itself. It almost didn't matter what the movie was. People were interested because they were so bought into the MCU. And in particular, late into Phase 3, it was just people.
Then, reality hit. Opening weekend, $116 million domestic. A big number, on paper. Marvel executives took victory laps on social media, tweeting out fireworks emojis and thank you videos. But behind those smiles was a burning smell. The smell of panic. Week 2? A bone-crushing 67% drop in ticket sales. That's not a stumble, that's a collapse. By week 3, another 60% gone. By the end of its domestic run, Theaters were slashing showtimes. Screens sat half empty. To put that in perspective, most Marvel disappointments still manage a drop of only 50 to 55% after opening. This was a nosedive. A box office freefall that left Hollywood insiders asking, has the superhero bubble finally popped? With numbers plummeting, the question became, who's at fault? Some pointed to Pedro Pascal, saying he was overexposed, coming off multiple blockbuster projects in quick succession. Others said Marvel's PR team actually overmarketed the movie, creating sky-high expectations no film could meet. Then came the backstage whisper campaigns, cast chemistry issues, last-minute script rewrites, marketing focus shifts after poor test screenings. Disney's inner circle turned into a Game of Thrones-style battlefield. Bob Iger was publicly praising the project on morning talk shows, while, according to leaks, emergency meetings were being held to control the damage. And social media? They weren't buying the spin. Memes mocking the film's pacing, villain design, and soulless CGI went viral, adding gasoline to the fire.
Falls into third place at the box office, just under $16 million in its third weekend, a nearly 60% drop. So we had, a 66% drop in that opening weekend, 67% drop from opening to second weekend, and now another 60% drop. Theaters lowering as well. A lot of competition out there. Things that have been in the theater for a while, like Jurassic World and Superman, things that just came out in the last couple weeks.
Let's break this down, numbers-wise, because the truth hurts. Budget: $200 million for production. At least $100 million more for marketing. That means Fantastic Four. First Steps needed roughly $600 million just to break even after theaters take their cut. And where did it land after 3 weeks? $434 million worldwide. Merchandise sales? Weak. Streaming pre-sales? Flat. Even Disney Plus previews barely showed an uptick in subscriptions. If you were working inside Marvel, this wasn't a soft blow. It was a nuclear bomb to their future plans. And Disney's accountants knew it. Marvel PR rushed to explain, it's been a crowded release season. Superhero fatigue is industry-wide. It's just a mid-phase speed bump. But here's the kicker. Not everyone was failing. While Marvel was watching its numbers crumble, Warner Bros.' Superman release barely dropped week over week. It was pulling in consistent money while First Steps lost audience by the hour. The truth? Crowded market or not, people will still show up for a movie they actually want to see. The excuse parade wasn't calming investors or fans. Here's the dangerous part. Marvel's entire roadmap is a domino set, and First Steps may have just knocked the first one down. Thunderbolts? Already testing poorly in early screenings. Captain America: Brave New World? Tracking even lower than First Steps on pre-release buzz. These aren't isolated projects. They're all story threads leading to Avengers, Doomsday. Insiders are hinting at possible script rewrites, delayed dates, and even changes to the villain arcs. If you built your next mega blockbuster on shaky foundations, would you risk $1 billion disaster? Marvel might not have the choice. And so comes the desperation play: nostalgia. Sources say Marvel is aggressively courting Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, despite their characters' fates being final years ago. Rumors swirl about Wolverine crossovers, Spider-Man multiverse team-ups, anything to recapture lightning in a bottle. The question is, can you keep milking nostalgia forever? Spider-Man. No Way Home worked because it was an emotional, once-in-a-lifetime event. If every film becomes a cameo fest, do they stop being special? Marvel is gambling that fans will still pay for déjà vu, but audiences might want something more. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The MCU's magic formula isn't magic anymore. The stakes don't feel real. The villain plots are often predictable. The humor? Starting to feel forced.
Audiences have grown wise to the connected universe game. They don't want another 2-hour teaser for the movie that comes out next year. They want a film that stands on its own, while still surprising them.
When Fantastic Four, Thunderbolts, and Captain America all underwhelm in one stretch, that's not bad luck. That's a system problem. And the longer Marvel ignores it, the worse the audience bleed gets. Marvel's at a crossroads. Option 1, double down on nostalgia, chase safe bets, and hope fans don't tire of the formula. Option 2, take real creative risks, shake the universe to its core, and rebuild that must-see magic. Even if Avengers, Doomsday wins big, it'll only buy time. 1 or 2 more flops, and the empire could fall.
We are living through the moment where the most unstoppable franchise in modern Hollywood might finally be vulnerable.
Now it's your turn. Smash that like button if you think Marvel needs to reinvent itself from the ground up. Drop your hottest take in the comments. Was Fantastic Four first steps a casting mistake, or is the superhero era itself crashing? And don't forget, subscribe for your daily dose of Hollywood truth bombs, box office drama, and behind-the-scenes leaks. Because trust me, this MCU story, it's just getting started.